Hello to whoever's there. Let me give others some time to come in. That's if I'm in the algorithm. I appreciate whoever you are. Let me know if you can hear the background music. I'll turn it down in a minute. Hold on 1 second. Give me just a second, okay? Just a second. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm here. YouTube is not showing me live. I'm trying to look on my other page. I was trying to put it in Discord, but thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Yeah, it's not showing me live, guys. Hold on 1 second. Mike Love, how are you? GMS Lawn Care. Thank you for tuning in. I watch your lives all the time. For some reason they're soothing to me watching what you do. But keep up the good work, GMS Lawn Care. Mike Love, are you working in all of this snow today? Is the music too loud? Let me turn it down some, and I'm about to start my reading. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I was trying to see if I could share it to Discord, however, I cannot. This is a romantic story about a lawyer who fishes in his cabinet. It was made up by me, 18, and the lake holds its breath. Let me know. Put a one in the chat if the music is too loud or if it's just right. Icebound silence. The cabin was barely more than a room. Pine walls darken. Okay, thank you, Mike Love. I appreciate you. Pine walls darkened by decades of smoke and winters. A pot-bellied stove tickling softly. A narrow cot pushed against the far wall. In the center of the floor, a square had been cut, clean through the planks, rimmed with iron. The lake visible below, like a black eye staring up from the ice. Daniel Hale preferred it this way. All winter long, when court calendars thinned and his cases grew heavier rather than lighter, he retreated here. The lake cabins, half a dozen of them, sat spaced evenly across the frozen expanse. Humble boxes of wood and tin owned by men who valued quiet more than comfort. No phones rang out here, no sirens, no juries. Only the slow pull of the fishing line through the ice and the scratch of the pencil against the legal pads. Daniel sat on a low stool, line in one hand and a thick case file spread across the small table beside him. Steam rose from a chipped mug of coffee. Outside, snow drifted sideways in the wind, whispering against the cabin walls. This place reminded him who he was before he became a lawyer, before arguments, before verdicts, before the weight of other people mistakes settled into his bone. Hey Top Pro, thank you very much for joining me. The knock on the door startled him. No one knocked out here. Men waved, stomped snow from boots, maybe shouted through walls. But a knock, measured, deliberate, cut through the quiet like a gavel. Daniel stood slowly, heart thudding for reasons he didn't yet understand. Another knock, softer this time. When he opened the door, Winter rushed in. Then she did. Margaret stood on the ice like a vision carved from cold and heat all at once. Her dark hair loose against the white, a fur coat pulled tight at her throat. Beneath it, he could see unmistakable lines of bare skin and silk. Her breath came out in clouds, lips pink from the cold. And on her feet, absurd, defiant high heels. Are you insane? He said, stepping forward. Just as her heels skidded, she laughed, the sound of bright and reckless, and studied herself against the doorframe. She didn't answer him. She simply opened her coat. For one suspended moment, the lake went silent. Margaret didn't speak, but her lips moved slowly, deliberately. My body misses you. Something primal broke loose in his chest. Daniel pulled her inside with force, a force that surprised them both. Slamming the door shut behind her, the cabin filled instantly. With her warmth, her scent, the sharp contrast of her against the cold world outside. His mouth found hers without ceremony. Weeks of restraints, months of distance. The carefully civility of their shared life, all of it dissolved in the first kiss. He pressed into her. She pressed into him, hands gripping her shoulder, heels forgotten as he lifted her clear of the floor. The stove crackled, the wind howled. Time lost its edges. Later, much later, the cabin was quiet again, but different now. The storm had softened, snow falling gently instead of lashing sideways. Daniel and Margaret lay tangled together on a narrow couch, a blanket thrown carelessly over them, bodies warm and spent. The case file lay untouched on the table, pages fluttering slightly each time the stove sighed. She took him quickly. He woke to the sound of movement. Margaret was getting dressed silently, slipping back into her silk and fur, her hair pulled into place with practiced care. She paused when she noticed his eyes open, offering him a small secret smile, the kind she wore only when something mattered. "I couldn't stay," she whispered. "You needed the quiet." He did not argue. He knew she was right. She kissed his forehead once gently. This time she reached for the door. Daniel followed her outside. The night was vast and blue, moonlight turning the ice into glass. He walked her carefully to her parked car at the edge of the road, one hand steadying her elbow, the other tucked into his coat pocket against the cold. She stopped before getting in, looking back at the scattered lights of the cabin. "You always come back different," she said softly, "when you're here." She nodded. "So do you." She smiled, then slipped into her car. The engine hummed to life, headlights cutting across the frozen lake before disappearing. Daniel stood there until the sound was gone. Then he returned to the cabin, closed the door, and sat once more by the fishing hole. Quiet, restored, heart full, winter holding his breath around him. The end. Thank you guys very much for listening. I do have another part to the story, but that's all for now. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Couch, for listening. You guys have a good one. And I'll be back with the book.